Hey guys, hope you're doing well. You guys may have seen, some of you guys that pay close attention, you may have seen this picture hanging in the tackle room behind me here. It's a picture of my dad right here and his best friend Jack Thompson, and that's about a 7-pound bass that my dad caught. That's at Table Rock Lake down by Shell Knob, Missouri, 1969. And I've got a really cool story I want to tell you guys about that in today's video. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back here to a special Father's Day edition on Intuitive Angling, and hope you guys are doing well. And as you saw, we started in the video, showed you that picture. I want to tell you guys the complete story behind that picture, how it affected me, how it completely changed my life. That one photo that you saw leading me down a career as a professional angler. And also want to get into a little bit about the impact that not just fathers, but any type of mentor has on kids as far as growing up when it comes to getting them towards fishing. And also, I'd like to hear you guys' Father's Day stories too, about, if your guys' fathers or people that had an influence on you when you were younger affected how you want to fish or how you like to fish now. Guys, let me tell you a little backstory about that picture there. This is like one of my favorite photos of all time over there. But every summer, the vacation that we took with my mom and dad, we'd go down to Table Rock Lake for a week down in the summertime, and we'd stay at a little place called Rod and Reel Resort, which is like a little mom and pop deal, located right there about a mile from the Shell Knob Bridge there on Table Rock Lake. And this particular photo, I think I was 6 or 7 years old in the photo. And anyway, Dad and Jack, I was just starting to get interested in fishing, and Dad and Jack, they'd always go out night fishing when we had the vacation there at Table Rock Lake. That picture was taken during the vacation there. And Dad had we had a 16-foot Starcraft V-bottom boat, had a little floor in it. It had a little silver trolling motor on the back end of it, and it had a 28 horsepower Evinrude motor on it. I thought it was the greatest boat in the world. But anyway, they went out fishing, and I remember every time they'd go fishing at night, if they wouldn't take me, and I'd start crying on the boat dock, and Mom would have to take me back up to the cabin, but because I wanted to go with them. But anyway, they went out fishing this night, and Dad brought back that 7-pound bass, which was the biggest fish that I've ever seen, at that age. And I remember him telling the story, and he showed me the exact lure that he caught on. And he even showed me the next day where they caught it at. They were fishing this little pea gravel bank over there by the Shell Knob Bridge, and Dad was throwing a 7-inch purple flip tail worm. He had a little split shot crimped on the front of it, and a little gold Aberdeen hook that he had threaded on, and the hook was exposed. And he had like this blue monofilament line on a Mitchell 300 spinning rod. I'll never forget that setup there. That's like stays with me to this day. And caught that bass, and it was a big deal. It's like I remember him we got it back up. He had it on it. This was back before catch and release too. I mean, Dad had it tied up to a rope on the side of the boat. Took it up to the cabin, we put it in a cooler, brought it home, and filleted it out the next day, which that's just what people did back then. Again, this was before anyone even knew what catch and release was. But anyway, guys, there was something about that. When I went down to the boat dock, I remember it was dark, and I went down to the boat dock with my sister and my mom, and Dad pulled up. I can remember him idling into the boat dock with just seeing the lights on the boat. And then he lifted this huge 7-pound bass over the side of the boat and put it in the water on that rope. And him relaying the story, and something just clicked in me. And all of a sudden, I just became obsessed with bass fishing. That's all I wanted to do, is I wanted to bass fish. It's really weird how events like that can change your entire life. If he hadn't caught that fish, I may not even have ever been a professional angler, because, I mean, like I said, that turned something in me where I just started really getting interested in fishing at a young age. And that is one thing that I want to encourage everybody out there, because especially now in the days of this, that we got cell phones and video games and iPads and Oculuses and PS5s, kids just don't spend the time that they used to outside. I'm not telling you guys anything that you don't already know with this, but I think one of the things about this is important is if you have the opportunity to mentor, or if you're a father, or if you're a friend or a relative of somebody that's young and impressionable like that, try to spend time with them to get them outside on the water. Now, there's a difference between being outside on the water and being outside in the woods. There's, because I've hunted and fished, I don't hunt anymore. I quit hunting about 35 years ago because I had a real bad experience with it. But I spent a lot of time on the woods and the water in my life. But there's something about fishing that transcends hunting or any other type of activity out there. There's a connection to the earth, and there's a connection to the water, and there's an energy to fishing that is completely different than anything that I've ever experienced in my life. And one of the things about it, which kids can really get tapped into, is there's a tremendous amount of mystique and mystery to fishing. That's why you guys hear me say all the time about forward-facing sonar, it's just a bunch of bullshit, which it is, because that takes away that aspect of fishing, the mysterious and the magical and the wonderment of it, by not knowing what's there. That is the power point of fishing, is you don't know what's around the corner. You don't want to know what's around the corner. That is what makes it stand out, and that's what kept me in it. Because every time when I was a kid out there, I remember, like, if I'd wade a creek or if I'd sneak in a farm pond, the anticipation of not knowing what was there was the thing that kept me going on that. That's the thing that pushed me forward and motivated me to want to get out there and catch more fish. And it's not like I had to catch a lot of fish, because back when I started fishing, when my dad started taking me fishing, we didn't catch very much. I mean, they just, like my dad and Jack, they looking back now, they didn't know anything about fishing compared to what we know now. They knew a little bit. They knew to throw a plastic worm or to throw a hellbender, and they just pull up on a good-looking section of bank and catch fish on it. But they weren't students of the bass. They were just recreational anglers. So from that standpoint, there's a lot of stuff out there that the learning curve, takes a long time to learn, and that is important, to have that long learning curve. One of the things about bass fishing and pointing them towards kids is, once they get immersed in fishing, and if they do it the right way by the traditional means of bass fishing, it's a avenue and it's a vehicle for them to learn more about themselves than they will in any other sport. It's like, if you bass fish long enough and you get involved with it, you're going to experience every joy, every emotion that you have in the human experience: joy, sorrow, anxiety, anticipation, thrill. It's just, everything is available out there in the sport, and that's one of the things that we really need to push them towards. And another thing with that is, when you're trying to mentor somebody to fish at a young age, you sort of have to you have to really decipher the interest level that they have, because kids don't have the same interest level that you do as an angler. It's like, that's one of the things I've tried to do with Elijah. I don't push fishing on him at all. It's like, if I go fishing and I ask him if he wants to go, if he does, fine. If he doesn't, fine. That is one thing I think that you have to do with kids when it comes to fishing, is take them on their own interest level, and try to make it fun for them. I mean, it's every kid is affected different with that. I've seen some kids out there, when they get a bite and they catch a fish, they're like lit up, like I used to be. And I've seen other kids that I've taken fishing that's like, it's no big deal if they catch one. So some kids are just going to be into it. Some kids are not going to be into it. Everybody's a little bit different. But main thing about this video, guys, since it is Father's Day, I just want to encourage everybody that is a father or a mentor or a role model or whatever to kids, to take them out there, try to get them out there as much as they want to go, and try to give them a foundation in fishing that will allow them to grow from that. And that foundation that you have to let the kids experience is that connection to being outside and the connection to the water. That is the main thing by anything. Catching fish is just secondary. If you try to focus exclusively on just going out there to get bites and to catch fish, you're missing so much of what the sport is. That is just a bonus, catching fish. If you try to educate and try to teach kids to get out there and appreciate everything that they're around when they're outside, all the sights and the sounds and the smells of being outside, the energy that the sun and the wind and the water provides. If you get them to focus on that, that gives them that foundation I'm talking about that stays with you your whole life. And it's, I mean, looking back, I mean, on that, it's like I've been around a lot of people that fish and a lot of people that sort of like to fish and a lot of people that don't like to fish whatsoever. And the main thing about it is, like I said, everybody's different, and they can't be forced down one particular direction. So I know it's difficult. If you're a bass angler and you've got a young son or something like that, or daughter that likes to fish, and or that you want to get them to like to fish, try to resist the urge to push it down them, because it doesn't work at all. I mean, they either like it or they don't. And the part of fishing that they're really going to like is like when you get past all the stuff I just talked about as far as the important elements about the connection to the water, is the actual bite and catching the fish, and the technical aspect of fishing. That will all fall in place eventually once you get that solidified grounding down. And I can remember, it's just here's a couple of different things I can remember that stands out, guys. I remember the smell of a fish. It's like when I was a little kid, and I'd look down, I'd smell inside of a fish's mouth. I'll do a video on that. There's something different, but that smell stands with me. The smell of cranking up that 28 horse Evinrude outboard, and the smell of the gas stays with me. The smell of the boat dock and the fishy smell of the boat dock stays with me. The smell of the cool night June air as you're running 15 miles an hour down the lake, it stays with me. And that's the thing that is valuable in fishing, and that's the aesthetic part of fishing that I always talk about. And that's one of the reasons, and I don't mean to get this off in an anti-live scope video, but that's one of the biggest reasons I'm so against technology in fishing, is the more technologically advanced that we get in bass fishing, the more that it takes away those fundamental foundational elements of what fishing really is and how important it is. So don't lead your kids down that path. I would highly suggest, going against the grain, and do not get your kids out there staring at a video screen in the front of your boat on the live scope. Try to get them out there where they can connect with it, where they're up close and personal with the fish. And if you do that, I just think it makes for a much more healthier, long-term, sustainable interest in fishing over the years. But anyway, guys, just a few random thoughts, man. On Father's Day, I'm like everybody else. I really miss my dad, man. He was grumpy as hell, and he made me mad a lot. But looking back, it was so great having him as a dad, and I really miss him. So, hope you guys are doing well. We'll talk later.